if you are switching from one supplier to another or a manufacturer to another, you need to look at the complete supply chain, as in the complete bill of materials.
Yes, when you transfer a project or a new project, actually, either way, we have to. So we have a BOM review process for which we assess each component. So either if our suppliers, and that generally we are more confident. At least we know that they are accountable on their quality and their performance, or it's a new supplier, and then we have a multiple steps review, including auditing, or even having a full control on the first batch, typically sending people on site and so on, depending on the risk level we have with the suppliers. So this is this is very important, and most of the issues that come up at the beginning of a production is supplier related. So having the right contract, assessment, the right assessment, make sure they are capable, make sure they have the capabilities and so on, as you mentioned, Paul. This is extremely important. So and that's the initial part of the transfer.
Yeah, excellent. And I guess once that's done, we can start to look at um, ordering enough components, and that means this should be done in parallel. Don't, like I said earlier, to start with, don't just pull the plug on your current manufacturer, because that's going to leave you short of inventory, stock, and potential lost sales at the end of the day. So it needs to be planned very, very carefully. And one of those things is planning for inventory, making sure you've got enough stock in order to transfer from the old manufacturer to start with. But as you're transferring product and information and knowledge, and we're starting to ramp up with the new manufacturer, that is where you start to look at making sure you're planning that side of it as well. So we wouldn't just go into, all right, we've got a new manufacturer, let's go. Fabien, I'll go to mass production. Here's my first order for 3 containers. That's probably not the best idea. You know, we've got a process, and just explain what that process is to our listeners, Fabien.
Yes, exactly. Yes, have customers come to me. Oh, can we start to produce next week? No, we cannot. Definitely, there's a lot of steps to be done to make it secured and control the quality and the performance. So generally, on average, it takes 2 to 6 months, depending on the manufacturer. All manufacturer support and the documentation existing takes about 2 to 6 months to transfer properly a production. So definitely you need to be careful with that. As I said before, we need to have all documentation ready. So quality plan, the SOP, the tooling for the assembly, the BOM review, all those steps that I mentioned previously are very important before we start the production. But the most important part is same for new projects, like an existing project. We need to do a pre-production or PVT before a mass production. This is very important, and this is something that is often forgotten in Chinese factories. It's important to have a trial run following the exact production process. And when I mention exact production process, I mean end-to-end. It means that from IQC, quality control, so the parts, the component arrive, they are controlled by IQC based on the standard defined, and sent to production to the assembly with the tools, with everything SOPs, everything as it's supposed to be, and then it go to OQC, and OQC is checking how it's supposed to be, including testing and everything. And if that runs well as expected, then we are good to go to mass production. And that's extremely important because you don't want to have 1,000 pieces or more with risk on the that you have problem. And switching to mass production, obviously there are always a risk of something has been forgotten on the way, some instruction not been done, some SOP are missing, some part even was not reported whatsoever, and that would be very harmful. So that's a very, very important step to consider.
Yeah, and that certainly needs to be planned out, and planned out with respect to pulling out from the old manufacturer and adding that 2 to 6 months, ramping up with the new manufacturer. partner. So everything needs to be planned out and carefully organized from that point of view.
Yes.
But I think I think you hit the nail on the head there, Fabien, with respect to making sure that everything is right before you hit that button for mass production. And that's not just making sure the parts go together. You know, it's looking at making sure that the suppliers or the sub suppliers or whatever are actually delivering what they should in the quantities that they should at the quality levels they should. So we're checking all the way from A to Z for the whole process, not just the assembly or putting the parts together. That's just one slice of the pie, as it were. So super important. So I
That's
think
correct.
that's just really, really good.
Yeah, that's correct. And I have to say, what I explained or the experience I've been discussing here in this podcast is something that also I explain to customers when they want to switch. So meaning that we are handling most of the process. So this is here advice, but yes, you are not. If you work with a good manufacturer, you don't need to care too much about that. New manufacturer will explain in details what are the steps, what need to be done, and so and so. This is more to understand what is normally done, and maybe also to assess your manufacturer.
Exactly.